Hey everybody! We're going to learn how to make our own board games today. I absolutely love board games and I have a lot of them. I have my friend here today to help me. His name's Patrick. Everybody say hi, Patrick. Patrick's going to help me out some today, designing our own game. I have a bunch of games, but when I was a kid, and even still today, I like to make some of my own. Sometimes you can take a game you really like and just make your own rules for it. Or sometimes you can just start making your very own game from scratch. Today, I'm going to do that by starting off with this plain old piece of paper. This is a big square piece of paper, but if you don't have any big pieces, you can use a regular size piece of paper, construction paper, anything you have handy. And all you really need to have is something to draw with, some things to use as pieces for your board game. You can use anything you want, even coins or little toys. Today I'm using some pieces I took out of another game that I already own. I got these little rocket ships. Now I have to decide what kind of game I'm gonna make. The most basic, most common type of game that you guys have probably played is called a roll and move game. You roll your dice and you move your piece a number of spaces on the dice. So we're going to start with that. We'll need to have a start, and we're going to need an end, so we can race to the finish of our game. Here we are. And now we need a path to get there. I don't want to make a straight path, that's boring. I'll make my path go back and forth a little bit. There we go. Now I'll draw another line, so it kind of looks like a great big snake. I can make this in any shape I want. But for right now, I'm going to make this big shape. And I'm going to draw some lines to make some spaces for my piece to move around. You don't have to be able to draw really good to do this. You're just making lines. And they don't even have to be perfect and even. Mine aren't perfect and even. There's my board game, right? I can roll my dice and I can move. All right. Your turn, Patrick. Okay. Right, Patrick. This game isn't very interesting yet, is it? It's kind of boring. All I'm doing is rolling the dice and moving forward along the path, and nothing interesting happens. How can we make our game more interesting? First, let's give it a theme or a story. What are we doing? I have these little rocket ships. Maybe our game is set in outer space, and maybe we're trying to escape from a planet. So here's my planet here I'm trying to escape from. Maybe I'm trying to escape to a space station. Gee, I don't know if I know how to draw a space station, so I'm going to make it really simple. My space station is just this ring out in space, and I'll put some little windows on it. Actually, it kind of looks like a flying saucer now. It can look like anything you want it to. This is your game, and we're just playing around for right now. All right, I gotta get from my planet to my space station. I could even add some decorations. Maybe I can add some other things out in space, like a planet, a star, maybe even another little spaceship for us to visit. There's some little aliens here. He's waving at ya. All right, but the game itself still isn't very interesting. It's the same game. I'll just roll my dice and keep moving forward. What else can we do to make our game interesting? Well, maybe we can make something special happen on some of these spots. Maybe we can make a shortcut. Maybe if we land here, we can move forward. We might land somewhere where we would get an extra turn. Maybe we might even lose a turn. I don't like losing turns either. It's my game, so I can leave that off if I want to. Maybe we could make some spaces that make us go backwards. Nobody likes that either. So maybe if we land here, we have to go backwards. So now we've got spaces that make us go forward or backward, or maybe we can even get an extra turn. Our game's a little more interesting, but you know what? We're still just rolling the dice and moving whatever number is on the dice and doing whatever happens on that space we landed on. We don't get to make any decisions. Games like this are actually pretty good for younger kids, or if you have younger kids playing with big kids or grown-ups, everybody has the same equal chance to win because it all depends upon the dice. But me, I like a game where I get to think a little bit and make some decisions. So, how could we make some decisions in our game? Each player could have more than one piece. Instead of just my one rocket, maybe I'll have more than one piece. And I can choose which piece I want to move on each turn. Then I get to make decisions. If I roll a number that might get me onto a good space, I might want to move that piece. But if I roll a number that would end me up on the bad space, I don't want to move that one. Maybe I'll move my other piece. What else could we do to make this game more interesting? We could have more than one path to choose from. Let's start on a different board. I'm just going to flip this one over. We're just using this for an idea. Maybe our board would give us choices on which direction to go. Maybe we have more than one path. I'm going to make this board shaped a little bit more like an 8. And I'm going to draw the game to have 2 paths. They'll meet in the middle. I can choose to go this way or that way. And then when I'm in the middle, I can make another choice on which way to go. We can make our game board look completely different. Maybe instead of racing to the end, our game board goes in a circle. I'm not worrying about making it perfect. I'm just drawing this quick. You can always make a game, test it out, and see if you like it. And if you do, you can spend a lot more time making a better version of it that looks awesome. So now our board here is in a circle. There's no start and there's no finish. I'll put a star here as to where my pieces are going to start when I take my turn. Now maybe this time I can choose every time I roll my dice if I want to go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or do I want to go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And maybe instead of a race to the end, we could make it a race to see who can get the most of these little pieces off the board. Let's say our spaceships are racing to get treasure from different planets out in space. So I've got my treasure on the board. So now I can choose which direction I go. And if I land on the treasure, I keep it. And I could keep playing until all the treasures have been found. Whoever has the most treasures win. These are just a couple ideas of how we can make our game a little more interesting than just moving in a straight line to the finish. I'll hopefully give you guys some more ideas later, but for right now, this is a great start. So later on, maybe I'll color my board and make it fancy, and I hope you guys do too. And I would love to someday maybe get to play a game that one of you made. Maybe you can grow up and be a board game designer and make the next awesome game. So thank you for joining me today. Bye, guys.